So in this video, this is going to be my overall review of the new Marvel show, which is Echo. And originally, I was going to do an episode by episode review, but this show was honestly such a disappointment. I think the fact that it was only 5 episodes was already a red flag, but overall, it was definitely a 7 out of 10. With the pacing was the biggest problem, and the rushed ending, which is reasons why it should have been at least 8 to 10 episodes. I do not understand why certain shows like this have to only have a limited number of episodes, and even the runtime. Like, the last 2 episodes were around 30 minutes, so that was already a lot of problems. So I want to start off first with the positives. I think the family was the biggest highlight for me. I feel like they were good, but they didn't have a lot of screen time to develop them personally as characters, especially with Bonnie. Didn't know too much about her, besides her connection with Maya, and they were considered sisters. I don't know like much who she is as a person. And when it comes to Biscuits, obviously he is comic relief, but at the same time, he was cool. He had some good moments, but I feel like he doesn't fit the tone of the show, and I wasn't too invested in him. Other characters I could say that I really liked was Uncle Henry. Uncle Henry was a very cool character, and he had really good moments using sign language. I think he showed the most emotion out of everyone. Besides that, also we have Scully. Scully was very funny, cool, and he gave really good advice that Chula really needed to hear, because Chula was the grandma. She was incredibly stubborn, and her and Maya doesn't even connect until like episode 4, when she was trying to explain the power that it follows generation by generation. And I think the power itself was interesting. I know they changed it because originally Maya's powers was to copy movements that she sees. They said it was too boring and they wanted to give her something more original. But I think it had potential if they just actually executed well. I think it's not really explained how the powers work or what exactly it is. I think it just gives you a boost of physical strength. I don't know. They didn't really explain it that well. And I really wanted them to at least have a whole episode explaining not only the powers, but the tribe itself was really cool. People, specifically like the people who had this power beforehand. And it does remind me of Avatar, which is reasons why I was so invested in it. But I would say my biggest issues when it comes to the show, it wasn't as gritty. Besides that, the skating ring episode, scene in episode 3, it did not deliver as well when it comes to the violence. Um, yeah, I just feel like it was overhyped. And then when it comes to the editing, there were certain moments throughout the show, especially the train scene. Even people complained about Matt versus Maya was weird. And some moments in the skating ring episode, yeah, it's just like the editing and the directing was a little bit off. And I could agree, it just didn't work out that well. And of course, the pacing. The pacing was awful. And then it was rushed near the end. Like, I think the fact, especially in the finale, they were trying to wrap it up was kind of disappointing, especially the fact when it comes to Kingpin himself, which was always a highlight to see wherever he's on screen. That Maya was trying to get into his head and try to help him, and obviously it didn't work, and then he left, was just kind of off to me. The fact that Maya, you know, finally was able to summon the power of her ancestors, and also Chula and Bonnie, fighting off Kingpin's men. I was like, eh. Like I said, very rushed ending. I did not like it at all. And of course, a lot of people are hyped up about the end credit. So yeah, the end credit was the highlight of the finale. It showed that Kingpin is going to get into politics, most likely run for mayor, because they want someone who understands the people and the streets, to basically be into the government. So that is something to very look forward to in the future plots. Most likely in the new Daredevil show that will be coming out, that I am definitely having more faith in, um, because, like I said, Daredevil himself is such a lit character. And speaking of Daredevil, I think his fight against Maya was okay. I can see why a lot of people have issues because people who don't know Maya are like, why is she keeping up with Matt? And it's just like, yeah, it's very weird. But, you know, like I said, when it actually explains her powers, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, it just seems weird how they were able to stand toe to toe with each other. Even Kingpin himself said that she did the best out of everyone to fight against him. So, yeah, I think this just it didn't last that long. Like he literally was just fighting for like a few minutes. It wasn't even like 7 minutes, and then he just left. And I just felt like that was a weird ending. Um, yeah. So besides that, I could say Kingpin and Maya's dynamic, I think, needed more explanation. The fact that Kingpin was so, obsessed with trying to get Maya's approval and trying to win her to his side, I felt like that could have been a whole episode on its own. Like to see what was their dynamic mostly in New York, and even with their father. Their father, Maya's dad, William. I wanted to see like what is how personal he was to Kingpin himself. That his own daughter is considered very important to Kingpin. And of course, with Maya's mother, the fact that she is a healer. And I wanted to know, like, what was her story? Like, I feel like we could have gotten more with Maya's parents, especially, with her mom, because, near the end, she's talking to her, you know, consciously about, like, you know, stop trying to go for revenge, family, protect your family and stuff like that. I was just like, okay, whatever. And another thing that I've seen people complain about is Maya's acting. I think the actress that plays Maya did an incredibly good job physically, but yeah, I feel like because they didn't give Maya mostly emotional moments, like I feel like her range was very limited. Like yeah, all the time you see her face, she's just very serious, and she does have like some emotions when it comes to Bonnie, but that's not a lot. And I really wish they gave us more with like trying to make us feel her pain. Um, I think they did a little bit, but not. It was not enough, in my opinion. I just couldn't connect with the character too much. I felt more connected with other characters more than her. And as I said before, the fights in the show did not live up to the hype of the tone. Like, I think the problem with the show is that it didn't live up to the hype that they were trying to make it Netflix style, like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage type of street level fighting. And I think the fact that this show, not only did they change Maya's powers, but the fact that her fights alone didn't feel as real, like it was hyped up to be. And that to me was the most disappointing part about this whole show. Um, yeah, I think the problem is that it's not because what a lot of people are saying because it is a female lead. It's because, yeah, it just felt flat. And this show, yeah, it was not it. I was very upset with, like, damn, they had a lot of going for it, but it didn't measure up to, like, the trailer specifically did. Because I was watching the trailer, like, 5 times, and I was just so hyped. But when it came to the actual show, um, yeah. So, would I recommend this show? Probably if you're interested in Native American culture, which to me was very fascinating. I love that part of the show. The whole tribe itself, like I said before, whole episode would have been perfect. I think the pacing would have been well if the first episode was just Maya and like more of her backstory with her parents and Kingpin, and then the next episode was like with her tribe and stuff like that, and then the fights, and then episode 4 confrontation with Kingpin, and then episode 5 to wrap it up. To me, that would have been better for the show. But thank you so much for watching, and even though I was disappointed with the show, I did still like it at the end of the day. So look forward to more videos coming up soon about Hazbin Hotel that I'm going to review, and I'm going to start doing One Piece reviews too as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and have a good day.